seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Beastmaster.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Canada Cup Season 7. We are at the tail end of this fine North American tournament. This is your upper bracket finals, just a singleton best of 3 tonight, but oh, it should be a good one. We're going to get to see Digital Chaos for the first time in a while in this tournament, squaring off against the Void Boys, Drag Neil, whatever it is you want to call them. It's mostly Void Boys, just with a small substitution, Juan in the place. I don't know what the hell this is called, but I'm Zyori, joined again by Mott tonight. Canada Cup by Moondog TV. Mott, how you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling good, Andrew. It's good to be here with the last couple of days of Canada Cup going on right now and some good action to end things. Of course, we should probably talk about the elephant in the room, that is Complexity forfeiting out of the tournament, making some difficult decisions. It's actually a lot of money to let go. I mean, you only had potentially 2 or 3 more series or something for them to win the entire thing. So for them to forfeit out this close is obviously their eyes are on a bigger prize, Andrew, and of course Seattle, where they are going to be playing through the wild card to get to TI6. But to GG out or to FF out, I guess, in this tournament is a bit surprising to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right. This is literally tonight, and then tomorrow there's one series, and then it's the grand finals. They would have had to play at most 3 more best of 3s. I guess assuming they would have won over FDL, they'd have to win again in that lower bracket finals against the loser of this team, and then of course it is the grand finals after that. So I guess if they really are that busy, you know, you got to do what you got to do, but always sad to see. I mean, you know, I was actually looking at the calendar earlier today, and man, this season of Canada Cup has been going on for a while. There has been a lot of other tournaments that have popped up, gotten in the way. Good guy Canada Cup trying to be flexible with the scheduling, but there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, and especially around these teams too, like, how are you supposed to schedule around teams that disband and change their rosters like on a daily fucking basis? Excuse my language. I don't understand it, to be honest, but these things happen. I mean, it's just how the region is. I know, obviously, Bill's very busy, not just with this particular tournament, with other obligations as well. So I'm glad that we've gotten down to the nitty gritty here. It was an interesting season. I mean, it was like kind of whoever. It was all out of left field. Like, any team could beat any team, but obviously DC and Complexity were the 2 biggest of the group, I guess you could say. But
yeah,
I mean, well, we're jumping into the draft here, and this is already looking pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, Beastmaster first pick for the Void Boys, Earth Spirit Tidehunter for Digital Chaos. So a fair bit of team fight with their opening duo, and Void Boys strike back with the Invoker. Nice pickup for themselves, and kind of a potential deny pick. We saw Wee play a fair bit of Invoker in the TI6 qualifiers throughout last week. So probably a good call to keep that out of his hands. And I also want to reference the Dota 2 Lounge odds. Rather lopsided tonight, Maudie. 9% believe in the Void Boys, 91 for Digital Chaos.
I mean, I don't think that's fair for Void Boys. They got to, obviously there weren't many other options for the qualifiers, but they did make it through the open qualifiers, so they had to beat like a ton of good teams. They brought down UR and Ritz's team, which was EG Bulba. That's a very good team. Yeah, they didn't perform that well once they got to the regional qualifiers. 7-4-7 even overslept during the first game of day 2 group stage action, and it didn't end up mattering because they only needed to pretty much win 2 games to secure their spot in the playoffs. Still, you know, they could have performed better against DC. They did get 2-0'd in 20 and 30 minutes and 20 minutes respectively in games 1 and 2. So yeah, I mean, this is obviously a very lopsided matchup in a best of 3 series that could easily end within 50 minutes total. But I think for Void Boys, they have the tools. And we were talking before the game started, and of course this is the former Dragneel roster, but Void Boys as a whole, they included Omega Poner instead of Schwan, but it looks like they changed things up just for this game in particular. Yeah, and then the tried and true Pat, so of course leading the way, which is pretty cool.
Symbol of peace, that's clairvoyance, right?
Yes, that is clairvoyance. That is him. Okay,
yeah, going with the envy route here with the philosophical names, trying to make us think deep instead of focus on the Dota. Yeah, it's real good stuff here. Second round of bans completed. PL and the Timbersaw taken out by Void Boys, and Lion Elder Titan banned out by Digital Chaos, and they will settle themselves with the third pick, Death Prophet. They have one nasty 5-man death ball. That 10-15 minute mark, they are going to come in laced up, looking for blood. How are Void Boys going to stop it, Mott?
I mean, you have good single target clear. Like if you get into, I think it's just kind of a hit run style. I think you have a Beastmaster Invoker combo, so roar into Sunstrike early on into the game to find pickups. You get your Invoker to scale into the late game with a Midas. You start clearing out creep waves and having big team fights for him. Witch Doctor with good wave clear as well, not to mention good physical damage. I mean, it's pretty much, I think, trying to focus down that Death Prophet before she can be a force to reckon with in a fight. Like just roar her, Death or Witch Doctor ulti her, Sunstrike her, bring her down before, like, okay, you get ravaged, but as long as there's not that much follow-up damage coming out, I think that's probably fine. DC have good push, and I think that's just one way to deal with it, is killing the Death Prophet as quickly as possible. I like the Invoker Beastmaster start for Void Boys. I think it's fine, but
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see how things go. I honestly have no idea how these drafts are going to shape up, and again, it's just because DC is so good that they could probably make anything work, to be honest. So
yeah. Faceless Void is still in the pool. Probably not the choice for Void Boys. For some reason, I'm thinking they're going to go greedy with that Beastmaster, but he'll probably still be their quote-unquote position 3. What the Tidehunter does, we did see a couple of jungling Tidehunters as well at the TI6 hub. That Iron Talon, man, works wonders on pretty much any melee hero. It doesn't have to be a melee hero. I mean, we've seen Swindle with the Iron Talon Bat Rider. Is there anything that Iron Talon does?
It's just an amazing item. Like, if you're a professional Dota player in the offlane and you don't go for Iron Talon, like with one of your first items, if not your first item in the offlane, you're making a mistake already, I'm pretty sure. Like, it just gives you so much. There's no reason not to do it, honestly. Like, because there'll probably be a laning situation where you're against a good dual lane or even a bad tri lane, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So you have to go into the jungle and you have to farm. And so for Void Boys, you're with the Beastmaster, I'm sure you're going to be sent there. For Tidehunter, it's the same. Although I think Tidehunter probably has a better time than a Beastmaster does in the offlane. But with Tidehunter, there is a Slark with Pounce and Dark Packs, plenty of magical damage. Acid Shift, obviously, some good right clicks over a period of time. Witch Doctor with Cask and Maledict. And then a Sunstrike on top of that. So, I mean, no offlane is really safe at this point at all. It just... Yeah, it depends on how comfortable you are.
Even with the Kraken Shell, you're absolutely right. You hit with a Curse, and the Slark goes in with a Pounce, Sunstrike. That should be more than enough to pick on that Tidehunter once they get level 2, level 3, around that time. So I reckon he'll be relegated to the jungle pretty early on. Oracle, the 4th pick for Digital Chaos. Hero that quite good if you have a good Oracle player, and quite the liability if you don't. For DC, I think it does mesh really well with the Death Prophet. She's got a lot of natural heal in her with the Spirit Siphon, so getting that ultimate from the Oracle just helps that extra little bit. Terrorblade and Phoenix, the 2 bans to round things out, and a bad in the last pick for Void Boys. Very interesting choice here.
That's usually something you pick up against like a Beastmaster or whatever on this team, but they pick it up for themselves. I guess Aphotic Shield's not bad against Death Prophet. I guess Aphotic Shield can take off Tidehunter Ravage, and among other things, I suppose. Fortunes and it's good against deflecting the purifying flame nukes and.
Still though, I mean, I think one of the reasons why Abaddon isn't really a popular pick right now is because he can feel pretty ineffective if there isn't like a Mirana stun, for example. Very easy for him to cleanse. If someone else gets hit, there's no risk of him getting caught in the periphery. Tidehunter, you have to be in a pretty special position to dodge the Ravage yourself, but still be there on call to like cleanse it off somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little skeptical that the Abaddon's not going to provide enough here, and that's going to be a Resolution Morphling, another interesting final pick for DC.
Yeah, this is something that I don't think they played I want to say they didn't play during the qualifiers, but the unfortunate thing about those qualifiers is that you can't see every single game, and I go through all the other games, so it's just kind of like, I mean, they could have played it. I honestly think there's a chance that he played it. Looking back at the qualifiers real quick, and actually I just need to look back at DC and see what they played. I don't want to look at the game, I want to look at the team. Come on now, Dota Buff. It's a fair bit of just all sorts of heroes, mostly Lifestealer and occasionally Slark / Terrorblade / Gyrocopter. Nothing that I can see that matches a Morphling pickup, which is, I guess, if you're trying to experiment with something, now is your best opportunity to do so. So, Andrew, I mean, I think this is an interesting Morphling pickup. I wonder what your thoughts are about this particular pickup here.
I kind of agree with your last sentiment there. I think it might just be, hey, you know what? This is a hero that we saw some teams win with in the qualifiers. This is a good time to play around. You know, game 1 in a best of 3. You have some margin for error. You're heavy favorites here. I think one of the biggest issues with Morphling is just the amount of time it takes him to come online. You know, he's one of those guys that likes to often go for a Lincoln's first item. You occasionally see the shotgun rush, but he needs a couple of items to really be scary. Lincoln's, Manta, BOTs, Scotty, Ethereal Blade, all this kind of stuff takes a lot of time to come online. But, you know, we've seen in games where if one team's favorited and they can just sort of outskill in the lanes a little bit, Morphling can take over early on. If he picks up a couple kills in lane, for example, he can really start to ball out of control. So I think it'll probably work out for DC. They've got plenty of heroes to 4+1 with to make space for the Morphling. So in that sense, I think this is a lineup designed to really let him shine.
I hope so. Is this Morphling? I feel like, yeah, he's got some tools and some teammates to help him out here, but it does feel more like a solo core morph than it does a dual core morph, even with the Death Prophet as we head to this early laning phase. Schwann and Clairvoyance going toe-to-toe with Misery. Misery not having the better end of that trade. There's going to be the cast flying in. It'll take some damage. Soxa will come in, throw out a couple of long-range right-click the Oracle as he also gets hit up with a poison attack by the boar, but the boar at level 1, no real damage done, so the contention over the top rune spot will actually be won by Void Boys, which means that DC will shift towards the bottom rune spot. They'll grab the bounty from the Death Prophet. A couple of interesting wards placed, a deep one here in the Dire Jungle for DC, and then one, of course, on the river for Void Boys, just a defensive ward, and then another one at the top rune spot as well, so some good vision all across the map.
Yeah, really interesting opening ward from DC. Definitely a sign that they expect this Beastmaster to be in the jungle. Snake King, Iron Talon, no surprise there. He does have a sentry ward, so they're somewhat anticipating there could be some wards inbound. This isn't going to block any camps, but it will just give some great intel into this hard camp. We'll take a look at Radiant Vision here, and this will just help them keep tabs on Snake King. Maybe they can rotate in and harass. Misery will be able to leech some XP in the ideal world. Once they get some experience, you know, try and deal with him. Beastmaster's one of those heroes that will have to tank the creeps a little bit, so there are opportunities to rotate in, and you know, if you get an invisibility rune or something like that, it can often yield a kill. Clairvoyance, just going to zone him out. He's gone for Windlace level 1 on the Abaddon, so he's speedy, going to be able to chase him down.
Abaddon's already a quick hero before he gets that item.
Yeah.
But afterwards, it's just like, well, I mean, I guess I just run at people now. And the good news for DC is that he isn't in the top lane, so they're not trilating against Moo. Moo, of course, he doesn't have the Iron Talon yet, which is fine for a Tidehunter in this situation.
This
he
is a great start for him, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 6 last hits. There's not much they could do to him. Like, Schwann's right click is just not good enough quite yet to be good against the Kraken Shell. Not to mention the Ring of Protection, giving him some up to a total of 5 armor. So I don't know. This is tough.
I mean, that's where the Abaddon feels like kind of a strange pick here. There are heroes that can absolutely zone out the Tidehunter. If you pick another aggressive support, you know, you can start to find kills with the help of the Invoker. But what's Abaddon going to do? I think Tidehunter's kind of okay going blow for blow with him, with Kraken Shell, with the Ring of Protection, and as you mentioned, Witch Doctor is definitely not enough. I mean, look at him. He's backstroking in lane, for Christ's sake. He's not feeling too intimidated.
Yeah, this is just... Typical Moo, honestly. The NA Dota player in this game being a bit of a flashy know-it-all. Wow.
Have you seen the new Lion one where he's like, I
Oh,
don't even
yeah,
know
yeah.
if it's new, but
Yeah,
I saw
I've
it for
seen
the
it.
first time this morning and it made me giggle.
I think I was casting with Ben and we watched it and we were just laughing the entire time.
That's a pretty good sound effect too.
I feel like really Clairvoyance's job right now is to make sure the jungle is safe and the mid lane is safe for both 747 and for snaking. He's not successful in it right now. I mean, nobody's died yet, but like he's not really doing a good job of making sure they're getting.
I mean, it's weird to
Free farm.
prioritize protecting the jungle for the position 3 Beastmaster, though. He's notorious for being one of the fastest junglers right now, you know, kind of up there to rivaling the Enigmas of the world. And
Sure.
Maybe he can't totally hold his own against the Earth Spirit, but it's okay if he has to go back to the well in extra time. It's a hero that'll definitely recover. Abaddon is still level 1, and you look at all the lanes, like DC's cores are top of the net worth and top of the last hit chart by a pretty good bit. I mean, they're winning this laning stage pretty handily. 1,000 net worth lead at only 3 minutes.
It might even be worse if 747 goes down to Weehawk. Cryptstorm? Oh my god, he should be dead right now. He had 10 HP. What?
Oh, man.
Weehawk's like, well, we could be winning even harder now. Instead, I have to use a salve, and
Yeah, that would have been
747
huge.
is still alive when he really shouldn't be, but
Yep.
God. Okay.
And this Morphling's just in free farm heaven right now. Resolution's just having a field day. Uh-oh, up top, Moo, caught by a pounce.
I think he's fine.
Yep, he's to be more than okay. Half HP, still with the fairy fire.
Misery was like, I could rolling boulder in, but I don't need to. I don't want to put myself in harm's way. And like, that's just, again, with 2 heroes top lane, they're not at that point where they can take them down with just the 2 of those heroes. They rotate up Clairvoyance, and I don't think he does anything either because he doesn't have Curse of Avernus.
Yeah, still 18 last hits on this Tidehunter at 4 minutes is really good. I mean,
he's
this is
wrecking it.
a much better start for the Tidehunter than you would normally anticipate with a pick like that, especially picked up so early. He was one of the opening picks here for Digital Chaos in this first game. Invoker really starting to struggle mid, though. DP is starting to pull ahead of him, and the harassment's just getting worse. Now that she's level 5, third point in Crypt Swarm, it's getting tough.
Well, this is the point where I feel like 747 should start being. Oh, hold that thought. Is Misery is.
Oh, is he
maybe
getting a
gonna
kill
find
here?
Staking? Is this going to be first blood? Good misquill. Boulder Smash comes out as well. Misery looks like he will be able to make it away, but here comes Weehaw.
King's in a lot of trouble. Soul Siphon comes out. He's going to have a Crypt Swarm. It does connect, but not enough damage. Doxa still nearby. 747 now rotating in. It could be Misery that's in too deep. A lot of damage being spread, but it's Clairvoyance that gets the first blood. Doxa gets a counter kill on the Abaddon. A 1-for-1 for now, but in deep. He's going to sit that last charge of the bottle. Still has a pooled Tango to work with. A little ring around the rosy will keep him safe. Snake King nearby. Could die to a Crypt Swarm here. He will stay in fog. Nicely played by the Beastmaster. He's sending the boar over. Both sides will just walk away. It's a 1-for-1, but obvious advantage for Void Boys drawing the first blood.
That was awkward.
Sure was.
I couldn't even follow half that engagement because everyone was like going north, south, east, west. And when it's all said and done, DD's resolution takes down the tier 1 tower. He's up to 41 last hits at 5 minutes. It means he's not missing any CS, and I think he's even getting jungle farm too. Or even the Beastmaster's Hawks and stuff to boot. I don't know what he's getting, but I don't know how you get 42 CS at 5.5 minutes on a Morphling, but you're probably pretty freaking happy in this situation.
Oh, this is ridiculous, dude. We were talking about... oh, yeah, we have a stats person. Oh, God, I forgot. About your deck disc. Like,
Yeah.
oh, God. Oh, no, it's the anime guy all over again. I have nightmares about that
not
shit.
Quite. No, not
Oh,
quite.
God. This is like the dream start for a Morphling. We were talking about they've got some good 4+1, you know, maybe 10, 15 minutes. They can start to group up. Hasn't even gotten to that point yet. Resolution's already like 1K net worth ahead of the Slark. He's taken out a tower.
Wait, you're not kidding. It is 1K. Holy wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. This is actually the dream start for a Morphling. I don't think it gets much better than this. Outside of
it's
just
resolution.
heroes running into you. Yeah.
It's also a resolution too, which is not ever a good sign. So don't get me wrong, Patsoul is a carry that is very, very strong in the NA region, but
The Resolution's European, so you're in trouble.
I mean, Resolution's not only European, but he's the best kind of European. He's a good European.
Living in America. Beastmaster definitely was slowed down, though, just by the rotations from Misery. And Misery honestly did a really good job making space this game. He pulled both supports into the jungle multiple times, and Snake King just now hit level 6. Has already been 6 for a while, 747, also just joining the club. So if the Beastmaster was left alone, he would definitely be a little bit more farmed than this. I would say Misery's rotations have been pretty value so far this game.
Yeah, and thinking, of course, because of those rotations, this is something you don't like to do, but he's kind of forced into a headdress where it's not like in some situations, if you can get a headdress without like losing any real money or like slowing yourself down, it's fine. But well, hold that thought as Moo's getting caught top. Ounce is going to come in. They've got the roar. They have the blow up as well. Sunstrike on top. Dark Pact. See you later.
There we go.
Finally, I mean, they have to commit 3.5 euros, we'll call it, with of course the 3 heroes top lane and the Sunstrike on top. But they do get the kill, Andrew, and it does take a lot for it done at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the way the Tidehunter's playing, it's okay if he dies once or twice. Oh, Rolling Boulder mid lane just barely falls short. 747 will survive, at least for now. But Misery and we cutting this tower. There is an Exorcism available. We're going to hang on to it for now. But yeah, the way the Tidehunter's playing, he's gotten so much farm out of this lane. He's all right dying once, maybe twice kind of CS. And when you are farming that far forward, eventually you're going to get caught, especially now that the Invoker's starting to get a little momentum. He is level 7, 4 points in the Exort. Sunstrike does a pretty hefty amount of damage right now if you can connect on that solo target.
Yeah,
he's working on the Midas and more than halfway there.
I actually think Void Boys are in a pretty good spot. They're not, well, hold that thought. If 747 dies here, then maybe not. Infused Raindrop blocking the damage from the Rolling Boulder. Good cast coming through. 4 to 10. Ravage committed. It's going to be on to 4. The Exorcism's going. They get the Crypt Storm off. It's 747. Sunstrike will not kill Misery. He's low. Fate's not going to save him. 2-for-1 exchange, though, as Batten does fall on the backside. We have another Spirit Siphon. Schwan has walked too far up. He'll stay alive. Meanwhile, the Smart coming in. Patso will find one. Can he get 2 is the question. The answer, Dark Pact going, good Shadow Dance, roars up, Snaky just got it, and Pat Soul finds the double. We are, Crypt Storm doesn't find either of them. Oh God. Mike.
Pat Soul, ring around the rosy. We still with a little bit of time left on Exorcism, but it's about to expire. What a heartbreaker for Digital Chaos. It looked so good for them at the beginning. A great Ravage on 4, but in the end, they can't quite take the fight. Void Boys able to hold on for now. They survive through the ult. A lot of low HP heroes, but they do take the advantage. The fight's not over yet. Patsoul taking heavy damage as he goes charging on in. Crit Worm almost brings him down, but 747 in the front lines, pushing the DP. Misery caught by the cask. Will be the only one brought down. Death Prophet survives, but it's another kill for Void Boys. And, well, Mott, you are absolutely right. Things looking pretty good for our Dire team all of a sudden.
Okay, so I do want to point out that that is a 4 versus 5 engagement, right? Resolution is farming bottom the entire time. He's about to get a tier 2 tower. In fact, he's going to fight Snaking too. Pure 5, like, Snaking's like, I guess I'm just dead under my tier 2 tower. And almost denied from Claire. He doesn't have a borrowed time, but Resolution wasn't going to go too far. Like, he would have dove to tier 3 at that point. And tier 3 tower is not a... The armor reduction or armor or you get is actually kind of ridiculous at that point, so you need to be careful. But still, Resolution finds a tier 2 tower. He finds a kill on top. He's now up to Treads, 2,000 gold, and a Ring of Health, and probably very close to his Lincoln Spear. But yeah, I mean, that's the one good thing you have going for you. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, you would expect after that fight that DC would actually lose more net worth than they would gain. But if you look at the graph, it's like, okay, well, that didn't exist. That fight just is not a thing that happened.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It's back up to 3,000 pretty much.
All right, let's hop into our Soylent instant replay. Thank you, Soylent Warriors, for making this instant replay possible. And oh God, come on, instant replay, not like this. Oh, Mott, our instant replay's on the fritz.
Well,
all right,
I'm sure.
back in game, buddy.
Okay, I was like, I'll let you do that, and I'll talk about what's happening in game. But no, I mean,
I don't know what happened there. I'll mess with it later. Moo in some trouble up top, taking big damage, but it might be Patsoul that's in trouble after all. Off to the side, Primal Roar onto Saksa. He's gonna die, and it's just gonna be a quick 1-for-0. Void Boys take the advantage again.
Well, that's DC being, I guess, a bit too aggressive, and Moo's like really trying to be that tanky frontliner and trying to get them to go on him, but that time Saksa's too far away. They throw up the Ravage though. That came out of kind of nowhere, and Patsoul's like, well, I'll just bounce away. Also, I have Dark Pact ready to go, so that's a bit awkward. And they have to leave now. You can see Moo's just TPing home. That was kind of Ravage for not like. Moo's usually really good about using his alternates and combining them up to find. Moo's just generally a very good player, but that time it felt as if they were a bit off kilter, miscommunication wise. So some awkward plays there from DC. No harm done though, I don't think, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean they're okay as long as the Morphling's farming, but it was sort of a peculiar use of the Ravage. We're gonna see an Exorcism used mid, try to take down this tier 1. No glyph will be a hard defense for the Void Boys. Meanwhile up top, they're pushing a tier 1 tower themselves. DC's already glyphed it up, and without a Ravage, not so likely they'll be able to do much to win a fight, but Morphling's finally rotated out of that bottom lane. He wants to come mid. He'll go for the objective, put some damage into Clairvoyance. We still with some duration left onto the Exorcism. Maybe 747 falls here. Resolution finds the kill. The tower does get denied by the Invoker, but not enough to save his life.
That's a big kill for Resolution. Oh, Resolution with Dragonlance. I love this.
Wow.
This is, I'm sure there was a couple of games at the qualifiers where there were Morphlings that did go for Dragonlance. I didn't see one personally, but I'm a big fan of this a lot. This allows Resolution to fight early, and he can still go for Lincoln Sphere in the next couple of minutes without really losing too much. Death Ward and Asaxa, the roar comes out as well, and actually they do get the Death Ward. Asaxa might be okay. It'll be close. Starting to heal up now. He barely survived the end of that engagement. And they also bring down the Witch Doctor. Sunstrike not going to connect on Asaxa. It's a good effort coming out from 747 on the Invoker. Susie can't quite get it done, and they will take down the Tier 1 tower as well. And the Glyph will come through, but it only survives a short while longer, as that's a nice little trade going the way of DC.
Yeah, Pat Soul getting a little bit of farm in the bottom lane. He's got a Shadow Blade now sitting back at home, but at the same time, Tide gets his mechanism out. So Ravage coming up in about 30 seconds, has that new healing piece join these team fights. Glyphs resetting here as both teams losing towers. DC taking a lot of pressure in the mid lane, but they could still mount the defense. Weehaw on the way in. He's now picked up the Veil of Discord. So Death Prophet nice and tanky, getting some decent stats. And, you know, I wasn't a big fan of the Veil on DP, but I really like it now. It helps solve some of her early mana issues, as well as her lack of armor. Plus 6 is really pretty handy and doubles it at this level. And, you know, she does have a lot of magic damage. Doesn't synergize with the ult, but the Spirit Siphon Crypt Swarm is more than enough for that Veil buff to be worth it.
I literally just played a game as Death Prophet where I bought Veil, and I mean, you really have to use it a lot to get the most out of it. I mean, yes, you get the plenty of armor, yes, you get the double null talent, but it's just like if you use it incorrectly, you're missing out on a lot of damage. Moo is going to take a Sunstrike. Patsoul doing some serious work, but there's the silence. They can't chase him down any further. So Purifying Flames will come out with the Fate Edict to only heal and do no harm to that Tide Hunter, bring it back up to close to full health momentarily, and Resolution starts to push. His Lincoln Sphere recipe is done. He gets the Adaptive Strike, and we'll see if they can siege his tower effectively enough to provide them that tier 2. But wrapping around, you can see 747. He's got that Indus Rinse. Smoke will go and breaks immediately. Soxa was part of it, and he's just been scouted out. So that smoke doesn't do anything for DC, and they might be wondering what happened there.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Can't really count on the invisibility rune up on an Invoker when you smoke like that. It's kind of an awkward place to smoke, but yeah. Such is life. Will happen sometimes. They've got a couple heroes still smoked up, Moo and Misery in particular. They're going to look for an opening to take a fight. Mech down for another 15 seconds, but they do have a Ravage available, as well as the Magnetize, so plenty of damage for a team fight. They also have the Exorcism from DP, so if they win a fight here, they could pretty easily just transition this into a tier 2 tower push, or hell, even try and start it off that way. I mean, 747 just has a Midas right now. That's about it. All things considered, he's still pretty underfarmed and hasn't really kicked in. He doesn't want to fight. Now he gets silenced, he gets knocked back, and yeah, speaking of the devil, that Invoker gets turned to toast. Now Clairvoyance really good. On the run. He's got the borrowed time, but they might actually just let him walk away. Yeah, they're going to go for the tower. They don't get pulled off the objective.
Yeah, I think that's the right play. In fact, if they chase too far, then Resolution, oh, beautiful deny, but he actually might die for this. The Strength Warp, he's out of mana now. The Death Ward coming through, and Snaky with the Necro 1. Remember, it has that Mana Bird still, and Snaky finds himself a sick dual kill with, of course, him and the Witch Doctor getting involved. Yes, Resolution did get the denial, but it's not worth his life. And now you have to wonder what DC will try to attempt here, as they're starting to get pincered, Andrew.
Almost space created, but DP didn't even drop her ult. Almost level 11. I think that's probably what Wee's saving it for. Clairvoyant's going to be the one to rotate in, and after it's all said and done, Void Boy's going to benefit a lot out of this. They're going to push bottom lane. They force out the Glyph from Digital Chaos, as well as the TP out of Moo. That'll break up their little skirmish there in the mid lane. So with that death on the Morphling, it's actually not as big of a lead for Digital Chaos as you might think. About 3k net worth, 500 experience, and most of the net worth is just coming from the tower advantage. Oh, it's actually just a 1 tower advantage right now. No, pardon me, 2 tower advantage. Still a tier 1 standing mid. So Void Boys are hanging on. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. Morphling's still out farming them, but it's not too bad. Slark, 1,500 gold. I mean, Patsoul's getting some decent space of his own.
You saw also this might not be super relevant, and you can never really tell what's going on in the players' heads while you're watching them play the game, but When after Resolution died and they were pushing down bottom, Resolution like pinged 3 or 4 times on the tower, telling them to defend it. It looked like a little bit of frustration. He's like, I can't believe that just happened. He's going to work on Patso though. Waveform is going to connect. Doesn't have the damage though, as the Shadow Blade was there. He's able to regen up and he's able to walk out. But that's the amount of damage that a Dragonlance and a not even the Perseverance, just a Dragonlance treads and a Keela can do to you from Resolution on the Morphling with, of course, a good amount of strength morph. So
yeah. I really like the Dragonlance on Morphling,
yeah,
though.
I do too, yeah.
A perfect item in place of something like a drum on him. You know, it can be disassembled to build into potential other items, and I mean, obviously the stats are great on a hero like Morphling. I think it does solve some of those issues that we talked about. You know, like going straight for a Linken's is a little bit too defensive, but the Dragonlance lets you come online and participate if need be. You know, he could have definitely come to these fights a little bit earlier, but I like it. We'll see if it works for DC, though. They're going to smoke up as 4 in the mid lane. They've got the Replicate with them. The Morphling can just hop in and join this party. They may jump on the Invoker. Rolling Boulder in. They've got a follow-up. Silence comes out just a bit too late. They will have to burn a sentry, but they still get the kill. It's actually a double sentry that comes out.
Well,
all right.
That's, again, as you talked about, the Invoker's might is... It's just not doing enough. He just got his drum, and that's it. Like, he's, again, like you talked about, very underleveled, very underfarmed. You can see Weehaw has, of course, the Veil of Discord. He's a Vitality booster, not to mention 1900, so if he wants to finish off that Atos, he certainly can. It looks like they want to pressure this tier 3, though, and I don't disagree with their decision-making here, because they want to get the TPs back as down bottom stick. He's like, well, I'm just going to pop my Necro 2 and see what happens, but now the Necro 2 is down bottom, and the Exorcism is chewing through the tier 3 tower. Not to mention still Flick Ravage on top of the mech as well for DC, so Resolution.
Yeah.
The Lincoln Sphere will break. They'll continue to push from the low ground with him with the Dragonlance, and now that's the tier 3 gone. They need to defend this Rex. Snakey needs to come home, and he's not even TPing. He's going to try. They're just going to give up the Rex.
Oh, no.
Andrew. This
is so bad, Mott. This is ridiculous. That was completely free for DC. All it cost them was the Exorcism, and they're happy to trade that for objectives at this stage of the game. Now Snaking, he's going to get caught. He gets stunned up. Silence. Saksa on the way. He should have a Fortune's End here to interrupt the movements, and he certainly will. Snaking is going down. He even roars the...
What did he roar? I didn't see.
The Beastmaster illusion of himself that Resolution made with the
That's
Replicate.
not good.
Hey, they've got a Beastmaster. Let's shut this guy down.
Tilted.
It's just funny that he literally roars the illusion of his own hero.
Well, sometimes
Brutal.
wait, the bar and the Bari 2 or whatever that quote is from the big glass guy.
The bear.
Bear.
Yeah. Weehaw gets caught by Patsol here. Sunstrike. Not
Right
going to be on
Rosie.
the money.
Damn, Weehaw just beat like a figure 8 there as he was running away from Patsol.
Spirit Siphon. Good spell. Uh-oh, the Symbol of Peace caught by a Fortune
No
End in
more
the mid
borrowed
lane.
time, he just used it.
Good night, Mr. Abaddon. The sweet prince has been killed. Now Moo blinks forward, goes in on the 747. There is a Ravage available here.
That's
He'll
all
hold
from
on to it
behind?
for now.
Oh, they saw him. They have an
around.
objective board over there.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
was
there it
looking
is.
for a rolling boulder. Or, oh my god, that was dirty.
From downtown.
That was dirty.
Now the Gush, the follow-up blast
Shadow Blade,
here.
they know where he is. They dropped 2 cents for that too. I think it's time for a gem DC.
Yep, I definitely agree with that.
By the way, Resolution's gonna have an Ethereal Blade in about what,
Oh my
1,000 gold.
god, dude!
How
How
much
is this so
Eagle Song
far?
again? Eagle Song is 3,200.
33.
I thought they changed it to be less expensive, but
No, it's still
32.
pretty pricey. But I feel like he just got the Lincoln almost at the shotgun. He's got 13k net worth.
Yeah, he definitely did just get the
Ah.
Lincoln's completed. He's like, all right, Snake King, listen, if you want to roar me, you can try, but guess what? I have this this nice Lincoln Sphere, and I'm just gonna have my way with mid. You're probably gonna go for a Mist Portal and then try to go for the roar, and then use the mana burn.
Yep.
And that actually is a significant way to kill somebody. Unfortunately, he was able to strength morph as soon as he saw that come.
Yeah.
And he had plenty of armor, so he was not going to die in that situation. It was a good effort.
You called it though, Mont. That's
I mean, like
exactly what they did.
if I could call it, then obviously Resolution knows what's going on. So
Still, you nailed it, buddy. Up top, Weehaw finishes off the tier 2 tower, the last outer tower for the Void Boys. Strike flies through off the mark. Patsol comes charging in, but they drop the sentry. They'll catch him with a silence. He'll dark tack it off for now, but Ravage connects on all 4. Snake King taking heavy damage. Weehaw just going to man up in the front lines, and it's just too much. He gets off the Yules. Maybe this is enough to stay alive. Spirit Siphon trying to keep him up, but it's not enough. It's a good fight for Void Boys. They last through a lot of the damage, but Big Bad Morphling now joins party. Go on to the Invoker. Moo hops forward, trying to finish off Xuan. They're going for the weak one. Meanwhile, their supports are getting picked off in the back line. Both Misery and Soxa have died, and it's a 2 for 3 in favor of the Void Boys. After all that, DC still able to win the fight. Death Prophet getting a little too excited there. She went charging in all balls to the wall and, well, it cost her life.
I don't know how you would just, let Pat Soul run at your supports in the back lines once the Morphling gets there. They ran after, I don't know who it was. I think it was the Invoker they ran after in the top lane once Resolution got there. But, they just were okay, let Pat Soul do his own thing. He's Shadow Dance. We can't do anything about it. And they proceeded to let him just chew through the supports, which was rather unfortunate. But what are you going to do? So, that was a pretty good fight from Void Boys. You saw they got a lot of gold going their ways. About a 2,000 swing back in their favor. But they need a lot more than that engagement. And Invoker is starting to get up towards that at least Tide Hunter level. I mean, you can get his Aghanim Scepter and get one good fight, then he'll be tied with Weehaw. And again, he farms a bit faster than Weehaw will if we get to that late game with, of course, the Aghanim Scepter. But
all right, Maud, I think I woke up our instant replay from its slumber. Let's go ahead and check it out. Hey, Soylent, thank you for providing us with this replay technology. Here we go, right into it here. It looked like a good fight for DC. Pat Soul gets initiated upon as they had the sneaky sentry down. Moo gets what looks like a really nice Ravage off, but this fight is such a good example of how DC are lacking burst damage. There isn't enough follow-up from the Ravage, and they're able to kind of sustain through it between the the Slark being so elusive, the heal from the Mist Coil, and the shields from Abaddon, and then on top of that, all healing from the Witch Doctor. It's amazing how Void Boys survived through all the damage. In the end, they burst down the Death Prophet, and they survived through a lot of it as we watch Xuan kite away the two big cores, the rest of DC get cleaned up. So we'll hop back into the game here. Looks like we did miss a Roshan. Heard the sounds, but it will be Pat Soul on the Slark that gets Aegis, uncontested Rosh here for the Dire. So Void Boys looking even better, Mott.
I mean, they're going to try to push in. I like the trap Moo and Misery are setting for themselves. They have Blink Ravage ready to go. He's looking for it right now. Replicate in. They've already blown up one. There's the Ravage coming up. That's a while. At least Dark Packs it off and thinking the second to fall. A double kill for Rezo, looking for more. And they've already got that Aegis down for the Slark. They're going to turn their attention towards that hero. They get off the Boulder Smash too. Magnetic Grip was not there, and he is able to Shadow Dance away because of it, but they're still on the hunt. Blink forward, Misery, rolling Boulder, misses, splits the uprights. Now, of course, the field goal, not good, no 3 points, but they might even get a touchdown. As 747 forced to go strong, plenty of vision though. Ooh. Detection all the way through as they have the gem up on Moo. And Void Boys, the trap was set perfectly for Digital Chaos, and they find it beautifully.
Absolutely a great fight, very convincing stuff, and this time it's on the mark. 1,300 worth swing. They had the follow-up damage from the Ravage, and just like as we were saying, Void Boys are looking good. They maybe get a little bit too cocky. This is going to be a pretty damaging push here, Mott. Invoker does not have a buyback. Down for 30 seconds. They'll finish off the barracks mid, rotate straight top. I think backdoor protection's already broken, so they can just charge at this tier 3 tower, and yeah, Resolution going to do just that.
Resolution having a heck of a game. He's sitting at 7-1-1. Almost still snaking. He's forced to go back to base probably. Actually, Mist Coil, Voodoo Restoration, more than enough.
But still, that's their Beastmaster. He's got 1,400 HP. He is super tanky, and Resolution almost one-shots him at this point.
I mean, if that's Xuan, he's dead to just the Ethereal Blade and Adaptive Strike probably. But well, that's it's pretty good for Resolution, the position he's in. So, I mean, at this point right now, the only problem was that they had to give up the Aegis and give up the Roche.
I mean, what do you think Resolution goes next here? Is it a Gotti kind of game? I mean, BOT Manta is always an option. He's gone for the power trade.
Yeah,
so I think he'll put off the boots of travel. I'm
surprised he didn't go. Well, actually, I guess the build is when you get Dragonlance. I guess the build is you go Link and Zero, but I think he goes Manta next. Pat Soul is on the hunt, and he's Shadow Blade right next to them. Moo is going to be nearby, but not close enough. They're about to see him. Moo, I think. Wow. I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe Moo walked right next to them. The gem didn't scout out Pat Soul. He saw it right on the edge of what was dangerous and what was suicidal, and Pat Soul actually somehow scouts everything out there.
That's ridiculous. That's like the second time this game we've seen DC lose a smoke like that, where there's an invisible hero like literally on top of them when they opt to smoke. It's just unfortunate. Even if you have a Shadowbladed Slark that comes by, breaks the smoke, then disengages, having him right next to you like that, especially when they have the gem like you were saying, that is living life on the edge and barely gets out of it.
I guess Petzel's like, all right, well, I have Dark Pact, I have Shadow Dance, you know, if I get caught, I can just hit my R button and run. I mean, I don't think that's the safest or smartest play, but what do I know? What do we know? He literally just, I guess, saved them from I wouldn't say certain doom, but...
What is Snake King doing? He's hanging out in the tree line here. He sees the Morphling, obviously, but...
He can't kill him.
Resolution, yeah.
Creep cutting, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, he's going to try to... I mean,
King's going to axe down the creep wave.
What's it going to do, though? They've already broken back door protection at the bottom lane. I mean, what... I'm not sure this is going to be much of a difference maker, and now they don't have Snake King there to defend. He will TP back, but the fight's already started. Weeha's deployed his ult. Tier 3 towers taking about 20% HP. He does pop his Necro Book, and now they're going to be ready to fight. EC, I feel like they could just turn around and man up the hill with the DP ult still at half duration. She's got a Yule's, Veil of Discord. They will wait for the creep wave, but this is a deal breaker for Void Boys here. They definitely have to make this hold.
Snake King's done some real, I don't want to say questionable shit, but you kind of have to make these plays in certain instances. It goes back to that play where he was pushing bottom when they were taking racks, and then he proceeded to die right after. That was not a necessarily good play. Snake King, the play he just made, actually might have been, I mean, it was annoying. I don't think it really did anything for them.
I mean, it didn't really hurt. I thought DC were going to be a lot more aggressive there. They seemed pretty timid charging up to the high ground. They seemed happy to just use the Exorcism for 1k HP on the tier 3 tower. Beastmaster will step a little too far out, and Resolution just drops him.
I don't even know where Snakey literally was like right outside of his space, like right next to the tier 3 tower.
Yeah, that was just Rezo popped in and was like, oh, hey there, ho there, hi there. Dead. I mean, look at it. Takes points down to half HP.
That's the most frightening thing that could possibly happen is Ned Flanders in Dota 2. Patzel is up high ground, and again, he's being dangerously close. They're going to see him now. They have that gem. Sox still might not be able to see himself. Luckily, he's got the quick R button press for the false promise Patzel. It's a good effort, but now Silver's down for a little while, as well as his Shadow Dance for 50 seconds, and see you later. Blank Gush Boost says, I will take that kill, Mr. Clairvoyance. You have no buyback. We will take your axe, and this game might not end with a climactic boom, with an anticlimactic whimper.
Yeah,
and,
Void Boys. They're just going to stand idly by as their barracks get killed. It's a 5v3 on the field. They don't have a lot of options. And now they are really between a rock and a hard place. Not really the best lineup to fend off against Megas. Even 2 lanes of barracks down is pretty crippling.
They don't have good high ground defense, right? Like,
yeah.
It's not like they have Vacuum Wall, they don't have Ravage, you know, they don't have these heroes that could just find that big team fight ultimate to start things off. Like, you kind of have to hope that the Invoker hits all of his abilities and find a good roar. But that's not going to incapacitate the entire team, you know? There's something to set things up. And so DC have no real, like, they have all of the aggression in the world. They have Ravage, like, they have the tempo control, which is unfortunate because Void Boys, if they had their namesake to face this Void, they might be able to find something. But unfortunately, it looks like they will just timidly watch as their base is destroyed.
Yeah, tier 3 tower in the bottom lane down. There's still Ravage available here. Moo hanging onto it. Weeha with the Exorcism online doing the big damage in this fight. They'll take a Primal Roar, but Snake King on the run, just barely lives. Sunstrike off the mark, but Barrett's falling quickly here. Mott Patsoul caught by the Ravage as Moo takes heavy damage. Snake King from the back lines calls it, and that will be the end of game number 1. 30 minutes, DC dominate over the Void Boys. Lucian with a pretty impressive showing. Of course, he had a lot of space in the early game, but even at the end there, we saw him almost kill the Slark in the top lane, replicate down bottom. +1 making space for the Morphling. In that game, it almost felt more like 4+1, the Morphling making space for the rest of the team.
I mean, I don't know why teams keep doing this. They keep giving Resolution free farm. They're so concerned about what move